ISM Code. This chapter explains the International Safety Management ISM Code as one of the core frameworks of modern maritime management. Its central message is that ship managers must treat the ISM Code not as a paperwork exercise, but as a practical system for safe ship operation, pollution prevention, certification control, continuous improvement, and safety culture. 1. ISM Code, ISPS Code, and the balance between safety and security. The chapter begins by comparing the ISM Code with the ISPS Code. It argues that safety and security are both essential. A ship may be secure but unsafe, which can still lead to loss of the vessel. Equally, a safe ship that is not secure may be vulnerable to piracy or other hostile acts. Therefore, modern ship management must integrate both safety and security into daily operations. The ISM Code supports this view through its requirement that a company's safety management system, SMS, must ensure compliance with mandatory rules and regulations, while also taking into account relevant IMO guidelines, flag state requirements, classification society standards, and maritime industry guidance. 2. Relationship with SOLAS, Chapter 9. The chapter emphasizes that the ISM Code becomes mandatory through SOLAS 1974 Chapter 9, which deals with the management of safe ship operations. SOLAS Chapter 9 defines which ships must comply and when compliance became mandatory. The ISM Code applies mainly to ships engaged on international voyages. Passenger ships, passenger high-speed craft, oil tankers, chemical tankers, gas carriers, bulk carriers, and cargo high-speed craft of 500 gross tonnage and above were required to comply by the 1st of July 1998. Other cargo ships and mobile offshore drilling units of 500 gross tonnage and above were required to comply by the 1st of July 2002. The chapter also notes several exceptions. Ships not engaged on international voyages, ships below convention size, government ships used for non-commercial purposes, warships, troop ships, cargo ships below 500 gross tonnage, non-mechanically propelled ships, primitive wooden ships, non-commercial pleasure yachts, and fishing vessels may fall outside the standard SOLAS application. 3. Structure of the ISM Code. The chapter compares SOLAS Chapter 9 with the ISM Code itself. SOLAS Chapter 9 contains broad regulations on definitions, application, safety management requirements, certification, maintenance of conditions, and verification control. The ISM Code is more detailed. Part A covers implementation, including general provisions, objectives, application, SMS functional requirements, safety and environmental policy, company responsibilities, the designated person, the master's authority, resources and personnel, shipboard operations, emergency preparedness, reporting and analysis of accidents and hazardous occurrences, maintenance, documentation, and company verification. Part B covers certification and verification, including certification, interim certification, verification, and certificate forms. 4. The role of the ship manager. A major theme is that the ship manager must understand not only the ISM Code itself, but also how it is applied through the company's SMS. The SMS is company-specific. There is no single universal SMS suitable for all companies. Each company must build its own system around its fleet, operations, flags, offices, personnel, and procedures. The ship manager must know where responsibilities and authorities are located in the SMS, how company procedures relate to ISM requirements, and where to find legislation or guidance when a practical problem arises. The chapter stresses that a ship manager does not need to memorize all legislation, but must know which rule applies, where to find it, and how to apply it. 5. Historical development and industry impact. The chapter explains that the ISM Code developed gradually from the early 1990s and became mandatory in phases. Serious maritime accidents, especially the Herald of Free Enterprise and Estonia disasters, accelerated the demand for stronger safety management systems. The European Union required passenger ro-ro vessels to comply earlier than the global schedule. The text also links the rise of the ISM Code to wider industry changes. Growth of third-party ship management, use of flags of convenience, increased ship losses, and a changing perception of shipping from a quality industry to a hazardous one. Earlier company procedures and ISO-based quality systems influenced the development of SMS structures, but the ISM Code became the mandatory safety management standard because it was supported by IMO and SOLAS. 6. Safety Management System, Purpose and Construction. The SMS is presented as the heart of ISM compliance. Every company must show objective evidence that its SMS meets every applicable section and subsection of the ISM code. The SMS may be paper-based, electronic, or hybrid, but it must be usable, controlled, and relevant to the ships. The chapter describes SMS construction in 3 broad phases. 1. Gather information, mandatory rules, regulations, codes, guidelines, IMO requirements, flag state requirements, classification society rules, industry standards, drawings, plans, contracts, inspection reports, audit reports, certificates, records, forms, manuals, and safety reports. 2. Build the system. Convert that information into policies, procedures, and work instructions. 3. Produce objective evidence. Maintain records proving that the SMS is actually being followed. The chapter repeatedly stresses 2 design principles: keep the SMS simple and make it flexible. A system that is too complicated becomes difficult to use and maintain. A system that is too rigid becomes difficult to amend when legislation, company structure, fleet composition, or operational needs change. 7. Design, development, and implementation of the SMS. The chapter divides SMS creation into design, development, and implementation. During the design stage, the company should appoint a team, review the existing management system, identify what already meets ISM requirements, decide what must be amended, remove unnecessary parts, and create missing sections. The design must consider the number and location of shore offices, office personnel, nationalities, number and types of ships, flag states, crew nationalities, document control, training, reporting systems, forms, records, and the critical path for implementation. During the development stage, the design is turned into a usable system. Future users should test the SMS and give feedback before full implementation. Otherwise, the company may create a system that looks complete on paper but is difficult to use in practice. During the implementation stage, the SMS must be introduced realistically and gradually. Personnel need education and training before the system becomes accepted. The chapter warns that forcing an SMS onto ships or offices without preparation can create resentment and reduce the system's effectiveness. 8. Quality assurance and the ISM Code. The chapter discusses the relationship between quality systems, such as ISO 9000, and the ISM Code. Quality assurance can provide useful tools and structure, especially for companies with little experience in formal management systems. However, quality certification is voluntary, while ISM compliance is mandatory through SOLAS. The text warns that trying to maintain both ISO and ISM certification can be expensive and administratively difficult because the audit cycles and issuing authorities differ. A practical approach may be to use quality management methods as guidance without necessarily seeking additional quality certification. 9. Audits, inspections, and surveys. A key distinction is made between audit, inspection, and survey. The ISM Code is audit-based. An audit is a systematic, independent, documented process that uses evidence to judge whether criteria are met. An inspection, such as port state control, checks certificates, documents, condition of the ship, equipment, and crew. The chapter identifies 3 types of audit. Audit type meaning internal audit. The company audits itself. External audit. The company is audited by an outside party. Verification audit. A third party audits for certification purposes. Audits use sampling. Therefore, an audit with no findings does not prove that no problems exist. It only means the auditor did not find non-conformities in the sample examined. 10. Internal auditing and auditor competence. The ISM Code requires companies to conduct internal safety audits to verify that safety and pollution prevention activities comply with the SMS. Internal audits must follow documented procedures, auditors should be independent of the areas being audited where practicable, results must be brought to responsible personnel, and corrective actions must be taken in time. The chapter stresses that internal auditors must be trained. Companies may send staff to recognize courses, develop internal training, or use external trained auditors. The preferred approach depends on company resources, but the text suggests that developing internal capability can be highly effective if done properly. Internal audits must define their scope, depth, and type. Scope means what parts of the SMS are audited. Depth means how far the auditor follows evidence when problems appear. Type means the audit method, reporting style, and nonconformity grading must be consistent. 11. ISM certificates. The chapter explains 4 ISM-related certificates. Certificate Purpose, Validity Interim Document of Compliance, IDOC for newly established companies or new ship types added to a DIOS, maximum 12 months. No Renewal or Extension Interim Safety Management Certificate, ISMC, for new ships, newly taken over ships, or flag changes, maximum 6 months. Special extension up to another 6 months Document of Compliance, DOC issued to the company for relevant ship types, maximum 5 years, maintained by Annual Verification Safety Management Certificate, SMC issued to the ship, maximum 5 years, maintained by intermediate and additional verification if required. A valid and relevant DOC must exist before an SMC can be issued. The ship carries a copy of the DOC, but the SMC must be the original certificate on board. 12. Certification and audit windows. The company must operate its SMS for at least 3 months before full certification, with objective evidence showing that the system works. Internal audits and management review must already have taken place. The office receives the DOC after successful audit. Ships are then audited on board while in operation for SMC certification. Multi-flag and multi-type fleets create added complexity because each flag administration may have its own requirements, may use different recognized organizations, or may conduct audits directly. The audit cycle is continuous. Office ship. Initial audit, annual verification every year, intermediate verification between the 2nd and 3rd anniversary renewal audit. The chapter warns that audit windows are strict. Office audits are easier to schedule. Ship audits are harder because vessels may trade in areas where auditors are not available. Failure to close nonconformities in time can escalate them to major nonconformities and endanger certification. 13. Interim certification is used when a full-term certificate is not yet possible. An IDOC may be issued when a company is newly established or adds a new ship type. The company must show that it has an SMS designed to meet the ISM Code objectives and a plan to implement it within 12 months. An ISMC may be issued for a new ship, a ship newly taken over by a company, or a ship changing flag. Before an ISMC is issued, the DOC or IDOC must be relevant to the ship. The SMS must contain key ISM elements. The company must plan the ship audit within 3 months. The master and officers must be familiar with the SMS. Essential instructions must be provided before sailing. And SMS information must be available in a language understood by ship personnel. 14. Maintaining certification. The chapter makes a strong practical point. Certification is not the end of the process. In many cases, maintaining certification is harder than obtaining it. The SMS must remain active, current, and useful. If a company needs special preparation before an audit, this may indicate that the SMS is not functioning properly in daily operations. The chapter also highlights the seriousness of certificate loss. Losing an SMC affects one ship. Losing a dock can affect all ships connected to that dock. Therefore, the company must monitor certificate dates, audit windows, flag requirements, and corrective actions continuously. 15. Multinational and multi-flag fleets. For ship management companies with different ship types, flags, classification societies, crew nationalities, and working languages, ISM compliance becomes more complex. The company should build a matrix showing ship types, flag states, classification societies, crew nationalities, company language, shipboard working language, SMS language, and which organizations can conduct audits. A DOC from one flag administration does not automatically mean another flag will issue the same DOC. Each flag may require its own audit. Language can also become an issue if auditors must communicate with crew or review records in a specific working language. 16. Nonconformities, observations, and objective evidence. The final major section deals with audit findings. Ship managers must be involved immediately when a nonconformity is raised against a ship under their responsibility. Once a nonconformity report is raised, it cannot simply be deleted. If no action is required, the reason must be recorded. The chapter explains 4 key terms. Term meaning: major nonconformity. A serious deviation threatening personnel, ship safety, or the environment, or showing lack of effective ISM implementation. Nonconformity objective evidence that a specified requirement has not been fulfilled. Observation. A factual statement supported by objective evidence, usually a warning before a problem becomes a nonconformity. Objective evidence, verifiable information, records, measurements, observations, or statements showing whether the SMS exists and is implemented. Major nonconformities require immediate corrective action. Unresolved major nonconformities can prevent certification or cause withdrawal of existing certification. Ordinary nonconformities must be corrected within the agreed period, often no more than 3 months, or they may become major nonconformities. Overall conclusion. The chapter concludes that the ISM Code is a cornerstone of international maritime legislation. Its value depends on how the company uses it. If treated only as paperwork for retaining certificates, it becomes an administrative burden. If treated as a living management system, it supports safer operations, pollution prevention, continuous improvement, and a stronger safety culture. The main message is that there is no single perfect SMS. What matters is whether the company's SMS genuinely reflects its operations, meets the ISM Code, is understood by personnel, produces objective evidence, and supports safe and environmentally responsible ship management.